Headline, a community of 50 3D printed homes is under construction in Mexico. Links in the description. Here's an image of two of the properties, 3D printed. You can see that it's all concrete or mostly concrete. And you see this ventilation. I mean, that's kind of low quality. I'm saying this with all due respect. I mean, to be clear, I think this is absolutely wonderful. I'm just trying to get a feel for the quality of the buildings themselves. I mean, certainly you're not going to get multi-million-dollar mansions built as yet with 3D printed homes because the quality isn't there, the finishing isn't there. But I mean, I suppose if you wanted, you just put some plaster over this, don't you? It's a little bit odd. It seems old-fashioned to me, and I'm not in any way experienced in the building and construction industries, but to have this ventilation, that seems to be an older type of thing. Maybe they're just tiles, maybe they aren't ventilation. But other than that, you can see that they're made. You can tell that they are 3D printed. They don't have a quality finish, but outside of that, they seem to be very structurally sound. And I believe they're two-bedroomed, so quite large. I mean, if you live in the major cities, there's every chance you live in an apartment, and if you live in an apartment, there's every chance that it's a two-bedroomed apartment at most. So that's pretty ample, especially for a low-cost property. So let's have a look at the article. Last year, the first permitted 3D printed house in the US went up in Austin, Texas. The house was a buzz-generating proof of concept, a wacky example of the cool things tech can do. At the time, its creators, construction technology startup Icon and housing nonprofit New Story, were raising money to fund construction of homes for low-income families in Latin America. Now, their proof of concept has turned into something much more concrete, pun intended. Today, New Story announced construction of their first community of 3D printed homes going up in Mexico's southern state of Tabasco. There will be 50 3D printed houses once construction is complete, the first two of which were unveiled today. And to me, I mean, these are very respectable from the outside. Ordinary, sure. Not up to multi-million dollar standards, but, it's a home, it's shelter, it's their own personal property, if they're to be owned. Basic, sure, but functional. So moving back to the article, at 500 square feet apiece, the houses aren't terribly large, but they each have 2 bedrooms, a living room, kitchen, and bathroom. Houses are printed in around 24 hours' time using a printer called the Vulcan 2. Speed isn't the printer's only advantage. With 3D printing, you not only have a continuous thermal envelope, high thermal mass, and near zero waste, but you also have speed, a much broader design palette, next level resiliency, and the possibility of a quantum leap in affordability. This isn't 10% better, it's 10 times better. I think he's saying 10 times better than traditionally building a home, which would be very labor intensive and time consuming. You would not be able to build the shell of the home within 24 hours. That's crazy. That's an absolutely absurdly low amount of time from one machine. In one machine, creating a building, a house for a family in 24 hours. That is just craziness. Wonderful, wonderful craziness. Back to the article. Similar to its first iteration, which was used to build the Austin home, Vulcan 2 is a gantry-style printer on rails, and it pours a concrete mix into a pattern laid out by software, one layer at a time. New Story, the company, employs local people to prepare and finish the homes, including land clearing, foundations, doors, windows, and roofs. Conventional construction methods have many baked-in drawbacks and problems that we've taken for granted for so long that we forget how to imagine any alternative. Located along the Gulf of Mexico. Okay, I'm going to skim read a little bit. Okay, so this paragraph is just telling us that this project is happening in a poor area of Mexico, where the median monthly income of the families in the community is a mere $76.50, and we can see here an image of the properties that these 3D printed homes will be replacing. So these are shacks, makeshift shacks made out of whatever materials the so-called owners can find, and they're quite clearly not sanitary, I would imagine, not sanitary, not safe, not secure properties to live in. So this will be taking people out of essentially these slums and putting them into 3D printed homes, which, it's not going to be completely luxurious, but it is going to give them stability. It's going to give them security. It's going to give them shelter, warmth, electricity, plumbing as well. Okay, so it says here the company concerned News Story partnered with local government programs to survey over 500 families in the area, selecting those with the greatest financial and physical need. These families will get zero interest, zero profit mortgages and pay 400 pesos, around $20 per month for 7 years, with the remainder of the cost subsidized by News Story and funded by private donors. Yeah, I mean, look, if these houses cost so little to build, and I'm not seeing it in this article here, but I have seen a cost of around $4,500 US for the cost of build, not including the cost of plumbing or the setting up the electricity, that kind of thing. So that is just the cost for the shell of the home. But if you were a philanthropist, if you had a few $1 million up your sleeve or a few $1 billion, then why wouldn't you chip in a couple of thousand US to basically rehouse an entire family? That's going to make you feel wonderful. I mean, why couldn't you just pay for a group of 50 or 100 or 500 families to be rehoused in a given area? There are plenty of land, undeveloped land in most countries, I believe, a lot of countries. Australia has, huge swathes of undeveloped land. America has. I should imagine it's the same with the South American countries. Here are the possibilities. These are the possibilities, and there's going to continue to be a slowness of adoption because of the land cost. There's going to be developers that won't want to print these homes. They would rather build more expensive duplexes and condos and muck mansions to sell for much, much higher price because there's more profit in it. So I would say that these kind of projects do require government subsidies, government granting the land for development, and perhaps even these innovative companies coming up, spending their investment into what ultimately may not be profitable ventures. So maybe we need to get some more philanthropists involved in this. I would like to see Elon Musk getting involved in this kind of thing. He's got to be building properties in Mars at some point, so he's going to have to figure out how to develop low-cost properties, via 3D printing or created by robots of some kind. So let's see Elon Musk get in on this game, and Bezos too. I mean, if Elon Musk is going to do something, we know that Bezos is going to follow shortly thereafter. So come on, boys, come on, Branson, chip in. Let's make this happen. Let's bring down the cost of housing for everybody, or let's give people these options of these low-cost homes, and those that can afford it, they can still live in their McMansions. Let them have the McMansions and spend the millions of dollars mortgage to suffocate themselves, and those that can't afford that, let's give them some decent housing or half decent housing this way.